All right, let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another edition of the Uper Farmer Cigar Garage Talks. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm doing pretty good. A lot better than I was last week. If any of you guys caught last week's video, everything went wrong. The camera app failed, the voice recorder failed, the video editing software failed, the upload software, the rendering software, and the candle, my little alcohol light failed. Looks like it might again tonight. I really got to figure out what's going on with that. It's kind of frustrating that it keeps going out like that. I'm not really sure how to fix it. If I keep it well stocked with oil, sometimes it won't go out. Let me try the lighter real quick. So anyway, which kind of made it for a good episode, because it really did. We could talk more about mental health. Really exemplified that, there are times with mental health that things just don't go right, and kind of the best way to deal with it is just to go with it. Roll with the punches, right? Keep going. Yeah, I don't think we'll be able to fix that. Oh well. Tonight we're going to talk about some ways to, some what they call mental health first aid. Before I get too far ahead, we're kind of doing some fun stuff tonight. This cigar is a mystery. I have no idea what this cigar is. What happened was I order some cigars through Cigar Daily every now and then. It's a small internet-based company. They have a great YouTube channel. Highly recommend you check them out. Might throw a little card in for them so you can scope them out. And I always drop. I do this for a lot of online ordering stuff for smaller companies. If they have those, leave us a message or a note link, I'll drop little cute messages. And I've been dropping some like, man, you make a difference. And, although today might be rough, tomorrow will get better. Stuff like that. Little inspirational quotes, the cheesy crap you find in fortune cookies. I always believe put a little positive energy out there, it'll make someone's day. Well, so I put something about, how you really do make someone's day, whether or not you know it. Thank you very much for what you guys do. Kind of cute. And I got on my bill, actually, my invoice, a huge thank you written and pointing to my comment on a little smiley face. So cute. And I'm going through my cigar order. It's exactly as I expect from Cigars Daily, exactly like I ordered, except for one additional cigar. This one I definitely did not order. I have no idea what it is. It's a 60 gauge, huge cigar. 60 gauge. I think it's about a 60 by 6. Huge cigar. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this thing all tonight. We're gonna try though. So putting some positive energy out there. We have to drink tonight from the Left Hand Brewing Company, Black Forest Nitro Cherry. Oh, I just lost my light. Cherry Chocolate Stout. I was wondering if I had to recharge my light. I thought I just recharged it the last video, but unsurprisingly, it died. I'll have to charge that up. And now, unfortunately, since we lost the light, let's see if I can get my... This one doesn't give me a flashlight option, does it, on my app here. And I don't really have another way to show. We have a special mug tonight. Hold on. I'm going to get another light because I'm going to at least show off the mug. There's a special mug tonight, so stand by. All right, we're back just to show off the special mug. This one is a Playboy mug from the Playboy Club, actually. Let's see if I can read it. The Playboy Club. So this is kind of a special mug we're drinking out of tonight. Before I get too far, I'll explain the mug. But of course, the delicious chocolate pudding bread. The mug kind of has a fun story behind it. So it really depends on who you listen to. I don't know if it was my uncle or my dad. All right, I'm thoroughly done with this app. As I was explaining, it was either my uncle or my dad was telling me the story about how this mug came to be in our family. And that's an interesting sight, or interesting stout there. So, as the story goes, my grandfather was invited to the Playboy Mansion. Went there, partied, and it kind of gets the signals gets crossed whether he purchased the mug, stole the mug, was given the mug to commemorate his time there at the Playboy Mansion. I don't know if it's true or not. It's not something I ever asked my dad about. He does watch these videos, so feel free, Dad, if you want to fill in the holes in this story, go ahead. I'll allow it. But the tradition that's kind of continued on is my brother and me steal the mug from each other. We go to each other's house. We see if we can find the mug. If we find the mug, we take it, and it is then ours until the brother comes to our house, finds it, and takes it for himself. Kind of a fun little tradition of trying to find it and steal it from your brother. I think I've had it the longest because I'm better at hiding it than he is. And also I go to his house more than he comes to mine. So anyway, on to tonight's story. It's all related products, of course. Everything you see here is very related. We're going to talk about how to deal with stress and how to deal with stuff we run into that causes stress. There are many different methods of doing that. And we're going to cover a couple of them here tonight. Tips of the trade, tricks of the trade, if you will. Stuff you can use in your everyday life. A lot of this will be geared towards responders so that they can deal with what we see. Because truthfully, responders really we deal with a lot of stress, a lot of public safety, EMS, first responders, firefighters, police. We deal with a lot of stress. So some of these will be specific to that profession, to the EMS specifically. So what are we talking about here? What are some tips for dealing with stress? One is to acknowledge it's going to happen. Especially in EMS, you're going to get stressed out. You can pretend you are the biggest, baddest, badass there ever was, and none of this will ever affect you. But we know for a fact it will. We know you'll get the call. I've talked about in earlier videos, the call. Each of us in EMS have a trigger call. It's different for each person. Some it's suicidal attempts of children, some it's pregnant women, some it can actually be older people or people their own age that triggers them, or a family member that died that if you treat someone with a similar condition, whether it's myocarditis or a patient with Down syndrome or spina bifida. I've known lots of providers who have lots of different triggering calls, and they're always different for each provider. So knowing your trigger calls, having some sort of support network to help you out. When I first got in the field, I used to make an awkward phone call to my wife, and she kind of knew that was me. I had a rough call. I didn't want to talk about it. Very rarely would I ever talk about a call to my wife. It wasn't fair, in my opinion, to bring up these calls to her and talk to them about her to them, talk about them to her. There we go. Words, they work. It really wasn't fair, in my opinion. The stuff I saw, babies that died, traumatic injuries, loved ones crying profusely, just asking me to save their loved one. It was stuff I didn't want to bring home. But to be able to talk to my wife, talk to my kids, have my wife put my kids on the phone, that's an effective means. Some little 10-second thing you can do that'll help. Talking to a loved one does help. I always say that EMS is a single man's game, but having someone to support you is always beneficial. It's great to have that. Now, what a lot of providers will tell you is they deal with what they see with devices. Beer, chocolate, cigars, tobacco, nicotine. There's a time and a place for that, of course. And in moderation, I do believe it's a very good tool. But especially stuff like alcohol is one of the things that providers deal with. We overuse that. We overcompensate by using alcohol. Alcoholism runs rampant in the public service departments. All public servants have to fight with alcoholism. One beer is great. 2 beers is too many. And you can have a lot of problems with that. A lot of issues with alcoholism because it is something. It drowns out the pain. It dulls it. It numbs it. But unfortunately, that's not what we need. Maybe in a short term, real quick, I need to get through the weekend before I can get some real help. All right, having a beer or two to just relax, okay. I firmly believe this, having a cigar, having a beer, having a little chocolate bread, it relaxes me, it calms me down, it helps me deal with some of my stresses, but it's a slippery slope, right? 1 beer leads to 2, 2 beers leads to shots, shots leads to you stealing. One of the best things I ever heard about drinking is you steal tomorrow's happiness, right? You steal tomorrow's happiness by getting happy now, but then you're going to be hungover the next day, have problems the next day. Very beautiful quote. Drinking steals tomorrow's happiness. So then you run out tomorrow, you got to drink more. And then you run out the next day, you got to drink more. So on and so forth. I do wish that more providers would avoid alcohol altogether. I believe a lot of them use it as crutches. They use it as a way to escape reality without facing what actually is causing them stress. So what actually does work? Having an outlet. Having someone you can call or talk to. I've talked about dark humor. It is something we can use to normalize the craziness we see, to marginalize it, to make it a little bit better. Now again, a lot of these are in moderation. Dark humor can be destructive. It can be something that we use to overcompensate. And that's not a good thing. We can utilize all the things we make fun of people for. Breathing exercises, taking those deep breaths. If you have on the iWatches, they have breathing, I don't know what you call it, an app or a widget or whatever, automatically built into the watch. Taking deep breaths, controlling your breathing can help you deal with stress and anxiety. Writing, journaling. Get your feelings out. Maybe you won't share them with someone, but at least they're out. You can put them out there in the ethos. Recording videos like this, talking about what's stressing you out. You might not want to publish them on YouTube, of course, for HIPAA reasons, but at least getting them out there. You say it to the emptiness of space. The best one that I've really relied on in the last 15 years is prayer. Having a religion. I firmly believe that anyone in EMS needs some sort of religion. Again, as I've said in previous videos, I hope you pick Catholicism, but if not, I understand. But I hope you pick a religion. Religion has community with it. You have a church. You have other people you can go to. You have a spiritual leader. You have someone usually who's well-versed and trained in crisis management. You can go to them and talk to them about what you're going through. Especially if you're Catholic, you can go to confession. If you're feeling guilty about something, I don't feel like I did enough. I've confessed many times for patients, I just feel like I didn't treat them to my fullest ability. I felt guilty that I maybe didn't treat them as well or as hard or as diligently as I wanted to. It's a great outlet to be able to have absolution and forgiveness. But even having that community, something that gets you away from EMS. That's probably the next one. Do something outside of EMS. Too many of us in EMS, we really rely on friends who are in EMS, our coworkers who are in EMS. We talk about EMS. We live EMS. We watch EMS shows. We follow EMS blogs. We follow EMS YouTubers. Really, you need to find something outside of that. Something non-EMS related. It always will be a part of you. When you start in on this career, down this field, you will always be EMS. You can't shake it. You never will be able to, no matter how hard you try. A beautiful quote from Bringing Out the Dead. They just got in the ambulance accidents, and Ving Rhames, or Nicolas Cage says he wants to quit. And Ving Rhames says, you think those ghosts will quit on you? They're part of you. It's true. I haven't been on a rig in 6 years now, 7 years. I'll say 7 years now. I haven't been on a rig. I still have some of the ghosts haunt me. Some of the patients I've lost. Some of the calls I wish I could have done differently. They're dulling, but they're still there. They'll always be a part of me. I can't walk through a Walmart without diagnosing people as I walk through it. This person has this condition, that person has that condition. It'll always be a part of me. I always enter into a situation assessing it like an EMSer. Looking for the exits. Assessing each patient, looking at hands, looking at feet. Skin tone, looking at veins. It still creeps people out. I'll look at your veins on your hands when I meet you. Assess where the best IV I could place on you is. Nothing personal, of course, just business, as they say. So realizing that you are not an island. Journaling, prayer, talking to people. Go to the incident stress debriefings. Set them up. Ask for them. Maybe they won't do anything for you. Maybe all you need to do is help someone else out. And remember, you can't get burnt out unless you're on fire. One of the quotes I had a crisis therapist talk to me about after a really rough call. I told him I started to feel burned out. I just didn't want to do EMS anymore. He says, that means you were on fire about the profession. You were serious. You were dedicated. You wanted to do it. You're there to help people. Very profound words. And of course, not being afraid to ask for help. Utilize the employee assistance programs, EAP sometimes they're called, depends on your agency, where you can talk to a therapist, talk to a counselor. Find a mentor. I'm really big about mentors. Find a mentor you can talk to. Someone who's been in EMS for a while. They can give you words of encouragement. I do in about every other year, I teach an instructor coordinator class where I teach teachers. And the first project they always have to do is to find a mentor. They have to find a mentor for education. And we use them quite a bit. They have to give them advice. They have to check their projects. They have to help them through assignments, so on and so forth. And it is something that I put my foot down. I've had a few people when I host programs for these instructor coordinator courses who kind of laugh at that. But then after seeing my rationale, seeing what I do, seeing how it works out, they usually say, yeah, that's a good option. So have a mentor, someone you can talk to. In EMS, sometimes you can lean on your partner. You and your partner can talk about a call, debrief about it, distress about it. Sometimes building traditions. So I've talked about code cookies and dead man cigars. If we had a really rough call, I'd go buy cookies for the crew that was on. It is still a thing, I was told. Got a little chuckle out of that. I talked to some of the guys who still work at the station. They're like, yeah, you're a bad influence. Code cookies are definitely a thing. We still do that. That's awesome. Which is pretty cool. It allows for that tradition, something to look forward to. I also recommend if you're in EMS, take death and dying classes. Learn about the process. Learn about the beliefs. One, you might help your patient go through the process, but it'll help you realize everyone's going to die. I sat through a lecture, and the guy started off by saying, this will be the biggest surprise and the biggest duh I'll ever give you. Every single one of you one day will die. And he kind of dropped it there for a solid minute, where people had to think and realize, yes, I'm going to die. We run into death a lot. When you realize that it is, people will die. Accept it. Yes, we fight death. We are the warriors of death, or warriors against death. But do realize, no matter how good you are, one day you'll lose that battle for your patient. Patients will die no matter what you do. Be honest. Be realistic about what you can do, what you can't do. You can't save them all. Little tips and tricks. Yoga works well. Meditation works good. Guided meditations. I am a firm believer of those. Trying to reframe and recenter yourself. Of course, prayer. I've mentioned that one a few times now in this video. I don't want to be a broken record. But a lot of people rule that one out. And I get why. I've talked to enough people who explain to me why they don't do that. And I understand it. Exercise works. I do like exercising. Helps me deal with stress. It's one of those things, though, it's a love-hate relationship with exercise. Some people absolutely hate it, but it still helps. Some people, it takes them multiple times getting into it before it really starts helping them with stress. Maybe getting out into the woods, reframing yourself. Some people like being around the newborns and children. That's helped a lot of people I know. But really sit down and think to yourself what works, what doesn't work. And don't be afraid to try something new, even if it's goofy as hell. The meditation one I thought was just goofy. And doing yoga, I was like, that's just ridiculous. I'm not going to do that shit. And then when I got after my ambulance accidents and a few really traumatic and hard calls, I went on this experience of trying everything. Trying to go to the crisis therapist, trying yoga, trying deep breathing, trying exercising, trying more intense prayer in my life. And I found what worked and I found what didn't. And I was surprised by the stuff that did work. There was a lot of stuff I kind of wrote off. The yoga and stretches, that really helped. Exercise really helped. I never thought it did, but here I was doing some yoga and some exercises, and I was amazed on how well that helped. So as you go off today, after you leave this video, go and find out what works for you. Try the weird stuff. I tried laugh therapy. It was kind of a fun, actually it did work. Being able to laugh, that's where the dark humor comes in. But sometimes you don't want to make those dark humor jokes. So there's actually a laugh yoga. Look into it. It's interesting. Just laughing. The benefits of it are well studied and found out that it's an amazing way to deal with stress, to deal with anxiety, to make yourself feel better about a situation. And it's just simple laughter. Go out there, find what works for you, try different things. If something doesn't work, try something else. Keep a journal about it. Keep a list. What does work? What doesn't work? What did you like? What didn't you like? Anyway, I hope this helps. I'm glad I was plagued again with a bunch of app problems and light problems. I definitely have to figure out what's going on here. I might get a new app here soon. It's unfortunate. I actually paid money for this one. The video app that I'm using, I paid good money for it. And even the app I use for editing software, I paid some pretty good money for. So I might have to look into a new one. But as my sister would say, it's not like I want to lead a boring life, but a day off now and then wouldn't be too bad. I'll deal with it. I'll get over it. It's not really causing me that much stress, especially the delicious cigar. And kind of a good beer. Not a great one, but kind of a fun cup to drink it out of. So anyway, hope everyone's doing well out there. Hope you're staying safe. And we'll see you on the next one.